I would like to invite on stage Vishal Patil, who will be speaking on the reality of our industry.
Sorry, I'm going to go with Kevin's old school style. So, yeah, I've made some notes. So I thought of, instead of presentations, I will just divide this into 6 different things about the reality of money service business industry. So let's start with the MSB sector, what's happening currently and what has been happening in the past. So I'm sure that each and everyone over here will agree with me that MSB industry is the one who is more scrutinized by the banks and by the regulators. So let's try and divide this into 6 different things. So first thing is the suspicious activity report. So I want to give you some information about what's happening in the industry. So last year, almost over half a million SARS were reported. But you can see from, means if we have to do analysis, the compliance is important, but what percentage of SARS were reported? So if one of the institution, UK Finance, says that around 49 billion transactions were done, but only 500,000 SARS were reported. So the percentage is very small, but it is important that your MSB should have all the controls, the compliance controls that are required. And why the SARS are reported? What's the talking point of here is the criminals are getting sophisticated, so we need to be a step ahead from them. Then let's get into another thing where each and every money service business complains that I have done each and everything that is there in the book of compliance, but still the regulator has given me a warning, or the regulator has asked me to change this thing, that thing, or the bank has asked me to do a separate independent audit and everything. But what about the big players? Now I have I have got some data. Nationwide Building Society, I'm sure you all of you may have heard this. FCA fined nationwide 44 million. What was the reason? Weak customer due diligence. Then Monzo, 21 million. Why? Rapid customer growth outpaced compliance. Metro Bank, 16.7 million, because over 60 million transactions worth 51 billion were not properly monitored. So you can think about the volume over here, right? And still the MSB sector is this scrutinized. So FCA or HMRC is not asking if you have transaction monitoring. No, they are now asking your transaction monitoring, does it really works? That's the question. Then, as Kevin said, cash is king. Yes, cash always stays favorite, but yes, it is depreciating, but still the data says 3 million people still rely on cash. So if we consider UK's population, I reckon it is around 79 million, adult population 55 million. If we consider pensioners, they are 20% of the adult population, so around 11 million pensioners are there. So 3 million is not bad, still not bad, right? If you say that each and every of them who uses cash has got £1,000, so still it becomes 3 billion of cash, right? So that's still a huge number. Then no one can escape the talking point at the moment going on in compliance industry, which is AI. What AI can do? I think Navid is a compliance head. He can understand with his team, and he may be discussing as well that how we can use AI and everything in our company to monitor or to counter the compliance issues. So one thing is for each and everyone over here that AI cannot replace the money laundering reporting officers. That is for sure. But MLROs using AI will definitely replace the MLROs who are not using AI. So if you are an MLRO, or if you are in compliance industry, or if you are running your own business, which most of you are, then you have to get adapted to the tools. And the last bit is the industry reputation. So MSB industries, mostly if you will see, are family run businesses. So the cross border payment industry, or the forex bureau, that is bureau de change industry, they are family run businesses. So what we need to convey to, means as an association, what we need to convey is we are not part of a problem. The MSB industry is not part of a problem, but it is a part of a solution, right? Thousands, not thousands, millions of people are dependent on the MSBs to do transactions which are going to help their families. So the regulators and the banks needs to see each and every aspect of compliance when they are considering the application, and not just considering every MSB as high risk. Thank you.